Happy Sunday night and welcome to Park Adventurers Club. This is the show where we talk about all the latest in parks news and tackle some of the biggest issues out there. And thank you guys so much for being with us. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We have a lot of fun. We got a lot of content for you. And also make sure to give this video a thumbs up, a like, as it helps people to find us tonight. Man, you're going to want to be here for this all-star squad. It starts with Shannon. What's going on, girl?
Just getting ready to fill my belly on Thursday.
Yes, Turkey Day is on the rise. And also, oh my gosh, we are so honored and privileged to have with us the man, the myth, the legend. It is Kevin. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, everybody?
Man, I am so glad that you finally came on here. Now, Kevin is the kind of guy who, if you've ever met him, he loves to just kind of say what's on his mind. Shannon is very similar for that because she likes to say what's on her mind. And so tonight's main topic that we're going to talk about in the back half of the show is guests behaving badly, the kind of things that we see in the park all the time that get on our nerves, that people should be doing better, be better people. We're going to tell you how. We're going to tell you what really grinds our gears and the best way for you guys to circumvent the parks and have a good time and not let it get you down. So hang on for that one. But I want to start out. Kevin, you haven't been with us before. We run this like a meeting, and I got a gavel if you get out of control. But I've had the feeling this would mean nothing to you. So I mean,
Absolutely
I'm not just,
nothing.
yeah, exactly.
Just
You're
the
like.
decoration.
You're like, that's cute, whatever. But we also have an agenda, and so tonight we're going to have the reading of the minutes. That's the last 5 stories from last week. The Universal Kids Park, which, again, Kev is like so excited about. Disneyland theme nights for 2026, the epic New Year's. Nateland that was announced for Nashville, and then where to meet Santa at Walt Disney World. And like I said, the big topic, the big conversation tonight is going to be the worst things that people do at theme parks. So thank you guys for being with us. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Please chat along, super chat if you're so moved, and we'll keep an eye on that for you. I do have some comments on this particular topic tonight that our pack, our Patreon had I've polled them on this, and they had no punches pulled either. So I'm excited to see about this topic tonight. But the first thing I want to talk about is this Universal Kids Park, because you know what, as theme park, I'm going to go ahead and call us theme park adults. As theme park adults that love to go to the park and have a good time, you know, we're always looking for a new experience. In this Universal Park that's opening up in Texas, they've made some more announcements about what's coming. And some of this stuff I'm like, wait, what? So there's a Shrek boat ride. There's some of these things that look like sort of carnival rides that are out there. There's a Minion water ride that's out there. And then what really I'm very impressed with, though, is this the hotel they're going to have there. So here's what the food court looks like. But the rooms look unique. They don't look like every cookie cutter, theme park room that we've seen, especially this thing. Like I mean, there's a lot going on in this one in particular, but for me, I don't know that I'll be going to this park. I know that probably a lot of influencers will go to this park and like cast judgment on it. But Shannon, this is a park that's made for kids. The only thing that I think it's missing is everything's an outdoor carnival ride and not like a dark ride that we've seen or an indoor attraction. What are your thoughts on this one, and how do you think it's going to be received?
And this is in Texas, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, predominantly because you're targeting such a niche market in having a kids-only theme park. The whole concept of Disneyland and Disney World was a place where everyone in the family can experience it. So what are the adults going to do? Also, is Shrek that relevant still? It came out in 2001. Like, I'm truly mind blown. Now, I love SpongeBob SquarePants, but again, that was my childhood. Are kids still relate to that? I don't know. I can't imagine people are going to travel from far away to go to this park, but maybe that's just me because this doesn't appeal to me. But my hopes are not high.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like every blogger is going to go and you got to take it for what it is and what it's, who it's geared towards. They're not building another Universal. They're not building a Disney theme park. Universal is building what they're calling kind of a regional park, a kids park. And so, Kevin, do you think you will ever have any reason to go here? Are there any of these? And you know what? Let me back up a second. There may be one of these franchises like Minions, like the Trolls, or I doubt Gabby's Dollhouse is on your list, but there may be one or two of these things that you're interested in. Are you, any of it? Any of that interest you?
No, none of it. However, I do have two granddaughters, uh, and I'm not sure if my son, if he sees this, he would be interested in taking them there. So the only way I would be there is if my granddaughters wanted to go and see that. And of course, again, being in Texas, we won't be doing that during the summer, especially if everything's outdoors. There's not a chance. We have that here at Epic, where even though some of the rides are indoors, there's not a lot of shade there, so it gets warm during the summer. If anyone who's been there, so in Texas, not a chance.
Texas is hot, is what Kevin's saying. Okay, yeah, and again, we're continuing to get new information on this. This is not the first information we've gotten on this, nor will it be the last. I believe it is slated to open in 2026, but because of what look like very out of the box attractions, I don't doubt they'll make their timeline on that one. Some of the stuff is cool, like the Minions water ride looks pretty neat, but some of the stuff looks like,
This is war in a hotel. Like I foresee this being, like you said, a regional park. Like
yeah.
people local to Texas will go, but who's going to be staying in that hotel is what I'm wondering.
Kev's taking his grandkids. Didn't you hear? That's
Oh, yeah.
all right. Let's move.
Kev may be
there, but not in the summer. I think was the note that we we took from that. Not in the summer.
In the summer.
Exactly. Let's talk about this for a second. Disneyland announced these parties that they do. They're basically their versions of the hard ticketed events. That they're going to be doing in 2026, the Disneyland After Dark collection. They're doing the Sweethearts Night, the 70s or the 70th anniversary year's favorites night, which is going to be unique. Disney Channel night, which they've done before, Star Wars night that they're doing before, and then of course the Pride night. Again, Kev, you transplanted from being a Disneyland girly to being a Florida guy. Have you ever been to any of these parties, and does any of this stuff make you want to get on a plane and go back there next year?
No. I've been to the Star Wars party. That was interesting. We actually there was a couple that was interested in Star Wars. They were big Star Wars fans, so we went, and it was a good time. The other ones, what stopped me is one, I wasn't interested in them, and two, they were overpriced.
Okay. When you do the After Dark events at Disney World, because I have not been to any of these at Disneyland, because they're always at weird times of the year, which is probably why they put them there. But the ones when you do the After Dark events at Disney World, they use not the Christmas parties, but the After Dark events. They're like free popcorn, free drinks, free included in your ticket. Do they do that kind of stuff at those?
I want to say yes, but I don't remember that because I just went straight for we were able to take in some beverages to make the night
Beverages.
out better.
You could
Yeah.
tell people you drink. That's fine. I
Oh,
mean, yeah,
I
that
absolutely drink, and I'll take edibles too. In fact, it's Ellie requires me to take edibles and a drink, so that way I'm not, as I say, educate the people, which will come later. Um,
very much. Brother, that's why you're here, man. That's exciting. I was like, he's too shy to say drinks, and then he went edibles. It's fine. Shannon, what are your thoughts on these nights?
I like that they're themed. Now, I would never go out of my way to go to them only because I live on the East Coast. It's not convenient for me to travel to Disneyland. However, I think if one of those nights happened to line up with one of my trips, I'd likely go depending on what the theme is. Again, because it's not something we have in Disney World. Disney World, they just slap after hours, and I never understood the concept of it. It's like you're paying more money just to stay later. I don't get it. So I like that at least Disneyland is giving you a theme, something that you can, dress up for or enjoy, or maybe get. The special merchandise was cool, especially for Sweethearts Night. So good on them. I don't hate it.
Yep. CKB in chat said they do not include the treats at those events, so they probably treat it just like a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or a Jollywood, where you pay to get in, and then you pay for anything else that you want, adult beverages and this and the like. Neko says she's going to be traveling to the one for Star Wars night and will be in full costume, so she's going to keep us posted on that one. But anyway, that's, I would like to go to those. The Disney Channel night one interests me a little bit. I feel like when you have a Disney Channel night, you should have Disney Channel stars out there. So I don't know that they've done that in the past. They really need to bring that, I feel like, to the table. And then after that, it will be interesting to see exactly what they bring for the event that's going to be the Disneyland party. So for that one, it says that it's going to be 70 years of favorites, and it's going to be on March 3rd and 5th. So one of the 70 years of favorites, and one of the things that they showcase is Flick's going to be there. Okay. When I think 70 years of Disneyland, the first thing I think of is Flick's got to be there, or else it's not a party. But I think that's because a lot of people like that Bugs Land that they paved over and made Avengers Camp. Did you ever go to Bugs Land, Kevin?
I did. They had what was it, Heimlich? The Heimlich ride was fun. That was good. For the 70th, the one person I would go to see for the 70th would be Steve, the guy who drives the fire truck down Main Street at Disneyland. That guy has been around a long time. I think he is a fan favorite there. That would be a guy I would love to see in the evening.
Nice. Okay. I'm down. Let's make the calls. Let's make it happen. Get Kevin and Steve together. Let's move on to the next one. Epic is apparently going to... I read this online this week on social and wanted to kind of talk about this because I think we talk a lot about Disney and going to Disney World specifically, and it's celebrating New Year's Eve. That's coming up. It's a thing that I think some people may plan on or go to. I know the first time I talked about going to Disney World at New Year's Eve, people were like, "Are you crazy? You should not do that. That should stay away from that place during that time. If you have anything less than an Incredipass, that you're blocked out for that period of time because it gets so crowded. But we did Epcot and it was great. Now Epic is going to be open until midnight. Now it doesn't say until 1, but their schedule that they've released said that they're going to be open until midnight, and the Helios is going to have some celebrations over there. Kevin, I know that you are newly minted as a Universal, and again, Allie said this, not me, that you're a fangirly of, you're a Universal girly now, is what she said. Do you guys know what you're going to do on New Year's down there? Are you going to go to one of the Disney parks? Are you going to try to go to Epic, or are you going to try to just stay in?
I'm not sure. We've usually stayed in, but Universal, Epic, that would probably be on my list of places to go. Definitely not the Disney parks on New Year's. I am a huge Universal girly fan, mainly because you could walk through the park, get a beer at 8:00 over at Hogsmeade, and just enjoy the day. I mean, our favorite thing is to rope drop Velocicoaster. After that, go straight over to Hogsmeade, get some Daisy Root beer, and just sit and watch for a couple hours. Okay.
What about you, Shannon?
New Year's at Disney World has always been on my bucket list, although I do recognize that with each year that I get older, I think my tolerance level for that night is dwindling. So that's all to say I really should go sooner rather than later. But would I go out of my way to Epic Universe to go to New Year's? No, absolutely not. Because that would require, I'm not going to, worry about, basically I'm not going to stay in a hotel at Universal. And I'm not going to certainly take an Uber or drive on New Year's Eve back to Disney property. So not the cards for me, Rob. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I do that when I'm typing. I'm sorry. So we will definitely keep an eye on Universal and what they're offering. But I feel like, again, this is one more step they're taking to try to make themselves a destination for Christmas and for New Year's and for these other things. They've always been the Halloween people with HHN. They've got Mardi Gras unlocked. No one else is doing Mardi Gras, and they do that really well. And so now I think they're trying to continue to move into the Christmas space, but I don't know that I've really felt like they were represented for New Year's. And if you look on their website, there are a lot of different hotel packages and parties that night that you can do at different hotels. And again, the Helios is one of them. But just the news that Epic will be open until midnight, and that you could, you could be riding on the Donkey Kong ride, Kevin, at midnight, bringing in the new year. I think that's something that don't discount.
I actually
it at this point.
I may be in the Ministry of Magic around that time.
Yes. You're a self-proclaimed Slytherin. Is that correct? Yes. Yep. Yes. I don't question it in the least. Let's move on to our next topic, which is Nateland. Now, if you guys don't know who Nate Bargatze is, Nate Bargatze is a comedian. He's been around for a while. He's from Tennessee. I love his stand-up. I've been to see him twice. I don't know how you could not like him. He did a great bit on SNL where he was George Washington, talking about how goofy some of the things in our the English language are. And he's just a funny guy, in my opinion. And when he tells his story, sometimes he tells a story of a place called Opryland, which I went to as a kid, that was in Nashville. It was a theme park. A lot of people think Dollywood is in Nashville. It's actually in near Knoxville, which is 2.5 hours away from Nashville. And so it's not right there. But he worked at Opryland, and so Opryland was a theme park that existed right outside of Nashville, and they bulldozed it and made it a mall. So now, if you go to Opry Mills, you are shopping on the bones of what used to have roller coasters and water rides. So Nate went and did a video that they dropped last week at IAAPA, which is the theme park industry, kind of like their Comic-Con. And he did a video and said, hey, I'm going to be making a theme park, and it's going to be called Nateland, which is a little bit confusing, honestly, because he actually has a podcast channel and network called Nateland. But in conjunction with this company called Storyland, he's going to be doing his own theme park. And we are beyond the Disney here. We lean into Disney, but we also talk Universal, and we talk Dollywood and Busch Gardens and all of them. But this one in particular, I'm interested in seeing if it actually comes to fruition, because he's partnered with this other company called Storyland. And Storyland actually had pitched 3 years ago that they were going to put a theme park in Nashville, and it was going to be based on stories. And so it was separated by countries, kind of like EPCOT. So they had plans for a theme park that actually existed. And so they're doing a feasibility survey. So he's announced it's happening. That's all anybody heard was Nate announced it's happening, but they're still doing a feasibility survey, and we're a ways away. Here's the question I have for you guys, and I'll start with Shannon on this one. My wife, when I told her this, loves Nate Bargatze. First thing she was like, who does he think he is, naming a theme park after himself?
100% agreed. And what bothered me more was this is coming off the news that Mr. Beast is also allegedly making his own theme park. So why all of a sudden are people getting into the theme park biz?
Money!
I mean, maybe this will, I always say this, I said this with Epic Universe, maybe this will light the fire under Disney that we're all waiting for. But do I think these theme parks are even going to hold a candle to Disney? No. I don't understand it. But good for him if he thinks it's going to be successful.
Well, yeah, good for him. And as the first person in through the gates, Kevin, what do you think?
I think I will not be the first person through the gates. I'd like to see what he tries to do with this, because in order to get with Disney and Universal, there are theming there's you have Marvel, you have the movies, you have all sorts of things that are a draw for adults and kids. I'm not sure what he would be able to do with that, because a lot of that's copyrighted, and and agreements are made between the Universal and Disney of what they can have at their parks and so forth. So, I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I kind of like to see what where it goes, but I find that difficult that he would have something there that would be a big draw for the park.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Dollywood, the kind of the draw is it's the Smoky Mountains. And so, like, that's good. But again, if you want to go to Nashville and then like kind of jot over to Dollywood, you can't really do that. But this is a place where there's a lot of tourists coming in. There's a good chance that he could, like, capitalize on that. But you're right, he doesn't have that one thing that is like, he could, base it on music, but he can't be too specific. He can't, specifically say, oh, this is the Led Zeppelin roller coaster or whatever. He's going to have to, figure that out. Now, this other park, Storyville, that they were going to build was based on Aesop's fables, is what they said in the video. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce it, but as they were doing that and showing this like video of what they had in mind, I thought to myself, so just go get anything that is like public domain, and that's how you would do that. But you're right, it's the IP of Harry Potter that brings us to Universal, and it's the the other IP that's there. So my wife was like, well, only Dolly Parton could get away with naming something after herself, like a theme park like that. And my son goes, well, what about Walt Disney? Okay. Okay. All right. So two people. So it goes Nate Bargatze, Walt Disney, and Dolly Parton. And then maybe it looks like Mr. Beast. But I'm looking in the chat, and David Lung said he's still waiting for discussions about Hershey Park. Oh, man, it's coming. I love Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. I want to go back. I haven't been in forever. And then Fire Chief said a lot of the proposed new independent theme parks have folded before they even broke ground. Universal tried to make, I don't know if anybody remembers this other than me, Universal tried to make a theme park back in the day based on Hard Rock. And so it was the Hard Rock Park. And it was going to be in Myrtle Beach, which again, built in tourists. And they built the thing, and I think it was open maybe 8 months. And they folded. And so that was backed by Universal, had Universal quality rides to it. It had roller coasters. And the reason I mentioned Led Zeppelin is there was one called the Led Zeppelin because it was Hard Rock. They had, they could use that IP. But at the same time, as soon as it folded, somebody else bought it, and they just called it Freestyle Music Park. And it stayed open for a few years, but they had to rip out all of the IP. So they I forget what they called the Led Zeppelin roller coaster, but it wasn't that anymore. So you're right, it is a challenge. It'll be interesting to see. Nate definitely has a lot of money, and at this point, he probably has a lot of popularity. Will that last? I don't know. But he also is looking to do things that are family friendly, which I feel like Disney already does that. So he may, but not in Nashville. Maybe he could partner with Disney and they could do something in Nashville. I'd be down with that. Let's do the last thing on the old business and get to the new business right quick. This one is that we saw that there is the Disney Parks blog released this, Where to Meet Santa at Disney World this holiday season. So apparently he just jots around from park to park. You can find him in the, they tore down his house at Hollywood Studios. I think he used to meet back there in the Muppet Courtyard, RIP. And so now you can meet him in Walt Disney Presents. And then you can meet him in the, again, about to be torn down area over by the Restaurantosaurus. And that's at Animal Kingdom. At EPCOT, he is at Communicore Hall. And I think they keep him there until the 24th, and then it's maybe Santa Goofy until the end of the holidays. And then also you can meet the other, Father Christmas and some of those that are around World Showcase. And then at Magic Kingdom Park, he's actually going to be at Storybook Circus starting this week. Shannon, have you ever gone to the parks to meet Santa, or do you just correspond with him via mail, or how are you communicating with the big man these days?
I wanted to get to know his counterparts around the world. So last year I did attend Festival of the Holidays, which quickly became my favorite festival. And I thoroughly enjoy being able to hear the different perspectives from the Santas from around the world. So I encourage everyone to do that. I think the other meet and greets are cool, but what's cooler is getting to hear Father Christmas and Perry Noel. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. I apologize. And the Barn Santa, can't miss Barn Santa over in Norway. So very cool experience. And if you're there, take advantage of seeing them.
Yeah. I need to know, Kevin, have you been to meet Santa? Because your better half literally just now texted me a picture of her with Santa. So did you also get your picture with Santa?
No, I think I'm blacklisted from Santa. I think I'm the beyond that of Santa. So no, I haven't. I have seen Goofy Santa though, or Santa
Yeah.
Goofy.
Yeah.
That's my vibe,
Okay.
more or less. But Santa himself, I don't think he has time for me.
I understand. I understand.
You're
You know
saying you're
what?
on the naughty list, Kevin?
I think I'm permanently there. I don't think I'm. It's one of those things that in a computer program when you try to delete, it won't allow you to delete. My name's just there permanently.
Well, that is an excellent segue into our next topic because it's about guests behaving badly. That's our topic this week. And honestly, when I heard that these two were on here, I was like, this is going to be fun. So honest opinions about this is like, people pay a lot of money to go to a theme park and have an experience, and whether it's Universal or Disneyland or Hershey Park or Nateland or wherever, you pay a lot of money to go have these experiences, and a lot of times you set your expectations pretty high and things go wrong. It may rain, or maybe an attraction is closed, or bad weather in general. We were there during a hurricane, so you've got to pivot sometimes because of things like that. And I think some people let those things ruin their vacation. Again, weather can be a thing. You could get sick, God forbid, when you're out there. My son got sick one time when he was little. That was, that shakes up your vacation. So there's a lot of things that can do that. But I don't think anything will drive you crazier than being in the parks and having somebody who does something that just is so irritating and so just
Stupid.
like
Stupid is the word you're looking for.
I wasn't even going to say stupid. I was going to say entitled, Kev. I was going to say like people who walk in because they feel like that because they've paid for their ticket, they can walk in and do anything they want. And we've done some stories on this show and the previous show that we did about things that happen in the parks, like fights that, people get into, like physical altercations. And they were bathing in the fountains at France and throwing up out of the Skyliner, all kinds of crazy things like that. And I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the little things that happen during the day that you're like, who do you think you and honestly, we try to let it go because of Frozen and also because we don't want to ruin our trip. We try to let it go. But what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys and in general, before we get into the specifics, Shannon, have you had a trip that you went on where somebody and their actions in the park ruined your experience?
Oh gosh, I feel like
Oh
every
boy.
trip someone ruins my experience. But it's more something that happens, on a more common basis than one particular situation. But I guess one hot topic I wanted to bring up is the fact that people always say, it's happening more now than ever. And maybe that's true, but I distinctly remember, and I wish I had the technology to convert the home video to share the clip with you. But this was back in, do you remember the Mulan parade in Hollywood Studios? Had to have been
Vaguely.
early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, we were taking a home video of the parade, and there was a guest next to me. This was right across from Sid Cahuenga's, that intersection?
Yep.
Or that corner there, right near the front entrance. And this guest needed to leave the park because he was going to miss his flight, and the cast member would not let him cross the parade route. And the way that he argued with her the entire parade, and this was way back in the 2000s. I feel like people have been doing this forever is my point. And I just think now it's so much more convenient for people to pull out their phones and take videos. But back then we were holding our giant, camcorder. And I can't readily accept.
Right. You're like, I can't get my hands on that footage because it's on a Betamax tape at the bottom of my dad's closet somewhere. Right. I get it. Yeah. And you know what? One of the things I didn't mention is the cast members. Cast members can almost always make your vacation better. But there are times where if they're following the rules and it's not the rule that you would like for them to follow, you get a little frustrated too. So, but again, I think that cast members, like I said, they can make or also could break your vacation as well. But this is, again, we're just talking about the people and the etiquette and the parks because there is a laundry list and we're going to get through it. But Kev, any high notes or like high level that you want to kind of say from the beginning?
Well, I haven't had anyone ruin our trip or visits to any of the parks. I think it's just the lack of common sense that people have the minute they get onto Disney property. And it's not everybody, but it seems like I think all of us could agree you somehow end up behind or around those type of people.
Yes, facts. So yeah, and again, what we would like to do is we would like to educate everyone on the things that they shouldn't do. Maybe share a little stories across the way. Share those in the chat if you would like. And like I said, we have some information from our pack members of things that they have dropped in our Discord that we'll share with you guys too. But let's take this topic by topic because I feel like otherwise it's going to get away from us. So the first topic I have is line cutting and queue etiquette. So this
queue etiquette number one.
Man, let's go.
All right, I'm not
That's
even
like
gonna.
my number one thing.
I'm not even gonna front. We'll start with Shannon on this because you guys are ready. I'm not even gonna present it. That should be enough. Go. Tell me what you got.
I cannot stand when someone is touching me on the entire queue and I leave adequate space with the person in front of me, but then the person behind me is just on my heels. They're brushing sweaty arms. They're hitting my bag. And if it's a long queue, oh my gosh. Like the ride is almost ruined for me by the time I get on it because I cannot stand people who feel the need to stand on top of you, especially in a hot and humid environment.
Look, I just did that the one time we were there. Like, I don't understand. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
I have a remedy for that. Crop dusting. You know what?
Lord.
And you find out real quick, they will back their ass up. They will not be close to you. That is annoying. It's like, you know what? We're all going to get on the ride. We're all in the queue. Just be patient. And this coming from someone who has zero patience. Okay? But I understand where I'm at and what if I get into a line and the wait is 120 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever the case is, I understand I'm going to be in there probably a little longer than that. But I'm not going to push up on people, to hurry them up because the ride's not going anywhere. You're going to get on the ride. So relax.
The ride's not going anywhere, says Kev. Well, yeah, and here's the other thing about that that's part of that, though, is, and I'm not advocating the crop dusting. That's Kevin's solution. So, but I know
it works.
I remember that when the parks were coming back from COVID and starting to just like take out a bunch of the like implementations that they had done, Patrick was like, let's start that hashtag 6 feet forever. Like, I need to always be 6 feet away from people. Like, let's keep that. We can get rid of the plexiglass. We can get rid of the masks. But please, let's just stay 6 feet forever because I want my own personal space. A lot of people in the chat, CKB said, amen, Shannon. Ronald said, I'm with Shannon. I don't like personal space violations. But the other thing that I have an issue with is cutting. And I feel like it happens more at Disneyland, and I could be wrong, than it does at Disney World because, I mean, maybe it's just because you've got more locals there who know, like, they're like, you're just a tourist, you need to get out of my way, or if it's one of these things where it just happens everywhere. So I want to get into the line cutting thing, but first of all, I want to stop because Jungle Cruiser has a super chat for us here, and the super chat that he has says, Disney just banned family jumping the queue. Can't just save space anymore. It has not gone over well. So yeah, along the same lines of what we're talking about here. Thank you so much, Jungle Cruiser, for the super chat. We appreciate you. But back to the thing about cutting. What I normally see, and Kev, I'm going to go to you on that because you were a California boy before, for a long time, is that you got one person that treats it like I'm going to reserve our spot at Chili's, and they go into the line by themselves, and then the other 7 people in their party come later, all the way snaking through the queue to meet up with that one person. No, 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 no. If there's one person that's behind, or somebody has to take a kid to the bathroom, I get that. But that's not what this is. This is Sandy was going to. She didn't want to ride Space Mountain, so we had her go ahead and reserve our spot at Rise of the Resistance because she was going to be standing around for 2 hours anyway. And so we're just going to go meet up with her in the front. It's like, that's not how it works, because what you are not thinking of in being, and again, it all comes back to respect. What you are not respecting in your other fellow, park goers is that now you've made it that much longer before I get into this attraction, and that doesn't seem fair. Kev, do you find it? I mean, you've been in both. Do you find it that was more in California, or do you not see what I'm seeing?
Oh, in California, it was habitual. There are people, and it's annoying because there is always that one group, and it's a large group, like you said. There's like 6, 7 people that come through to meet the one person. And while we're on this, we were at Universal last week, and there was a lady that was walking, and she kept looking back behind us, and Allie and I were like, okay, we know what's going to happen. There's going to be people coming up because she couldn't wait for them, or they couldn't wait, or whatever. There's that, the line saving, and then there's the people that get separated from their group. So instead of waiting at the beginning of the queue or get everybody together, they get in line, and then the rest of the pack have to try and find them through the line. That's just as annoying as well. It's like, get your group together, get in the queue, and then everything's good. That is also what I've seen is where a lot of fights or verbal arguments start, and then it carries over into the park after that, because people are waiting in line. Like I said, you're going to wait in line. You're going to wait in line. It's going to be a wait. Then you have these people who are cutting in, and it's like, why are you doing this? Wait like everybody else. Just be patient. The ride's the only thing that's going to happen with the ride is that it'll break down while you're in line. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere. Just wait in line.
But I've got a 3:00 for a character breakfast. So or a character lunch, not for a breakfast at 3:00. So I'm more important. So I should get through here. I can't wait. You guys can wait. I can't. I don't know. It is frustrating. Shannon, anything else on that before we go to the next one?
No. I'm ready
All right.
for
So the next one. I don't know if you guys are bothers you as much as it does me, but I think it's your behavior on the attraction, which would also count in the pre-show, and your behavior in a show. The people, and sometimes it's like people have kids that are running up and down the aisles in a show, and that's a different topic. We're going to talk about kids in a second, but and it's a theme park, so there are going to be kids. But when it comes to like the attractions, and this is a little thing, I think when I was younger, I probably was the guy who was quoting the Haunted Mansion spiel in the in the stretching room, and at some point I was like, wait a minute, this is not a thing I should be doing. Let's let them I don't need to show off for anybody that I know these words to this attraction that I've ridden 82 times. Let these people have their own experience. So that's one thing that, the quoting of the pre-shows and things like that I think a lot of people make it a stretch, make it a super stretch. That one feels a little bit different because it's a little more casual, but like when it's an experience, I feel like that messes with you. Maybe I'm alone in that one. But the other part of that, being in the attraction or being into a show is just people talking through it as if like they're at home on their couch. So Shannon, thoughts on either of those two things?
I don't care about people who are talking along with the narrative. I probably do that from time to time, quietly. But what I do care is when you have people screaming or being over the top. Like, think about a group of teenagers. And when I'm, going for my usual therapy session, which is a ride on the People Mover, I want peace, and I just want to take in the ambient noise around me. I don't want some group of teenagers pretending like they're on a thrill ride and think they're really funny in screaming and yelling and things like that. So that is the kind of stuff that gets me. It's like living with the land too. Let me have my peace with my vegetables.
Well, I will tell you that when I used to be when it was Listen to the Land, which was 150 years ago, and people who watch the show know that I was a cast member on that attraction. When I was on there, I would have boats where I'm spieling and people are talking to each other, and
Yeah.
that's the worst, because you're like, it throws you as someone who's doing that kind of a thing, and again, like I said, it's a lack of respect at that point. But at the same time, I've been on other people, like a Jungle Cruise experience, when the cast member there was, people were talking over him, and he kind of snarked back at them because it was in like it was in character for that one, and kind of put them back down in their place. But Kev, any thoughts on that one? I mean, I assume you're the guy who quotes the Haunted Mansion stretching room the entire time, right?
Like Shannon, I in my head, I won't verbally be loud about it. The thing that gets me is now on these rides, and Pirates, it comes to mind, Living with the Land, but Pirates especially, and Small World. These people on their phone in a dark boat ride where now they're setting up their mobile order, or they're getting their next lightning lane, or they're just texting and scrolling Instagram. Why? I don't need your light bright in my eyes while in Pirates. Okay. Yes, I've been on Pirates a lot. Okay, but I enjoy that ride. Again, like Shannon says, with People Mover is also one of my therapy rides. I want to enjoy what's been done with that ride. I don't need somebody's phone who's in the row ahead of me scrolling and doing all kind of stupid stuff. Sorry. um, wait till you get off the ride. Wait till you're
Yeah.
outside and you can do your mobile order. You can do your lightning lane or whatever, or you can do it while you're waiting to get into the attraction. But don't do it
Yeah.
on the attraction when everybody else is trying to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And that leads me into our next topic, which was going to be flash photography and phone behavior. But even more so than that, what bothers me, and I've seen this before, is somebody who holds their iPad up above their heads to record the fireworks. So you can't see, and it's just like, are you kidding me right now? I'm sorry, are you Mr. Beast? Do you have a gajillion followers who are just relying on this content, or is this something you're going to record and never see again? Or are you on a FaceTime with Aunt Edna? Like what's actually happening here, that it's more important than like be in the moment? Or if you need to record it, and Lord knows that I take 5,000 pictures and videos and all those kind of things when I'm out there, and I like the fact that now that I'm using Meta glasses, I don't have to like hold a shiny thing up to do, to capture content, and it's not going to bother people when I do that. But I'm cognizant of it. I worry about it. I worry about, is what I'm doing blocking the person behind me, and again, the flash thing. We rode through Frozen, and I swear, Shannon, I'm gonna give you a second to talk about this, but we rode through Frozen. We had gotten a lightning lane. No, it was a fast pass back in the day when you could do that months in advance. My daughter was excited about it. We get on there, and the people in the front row had a camera light on the entire attraction. Yeah, see, you feel that, don't you, brother? And so when I got off the attraction, like, I went to a cast member and was like, okay, I just had the worst ride experience just now, and the person in front of me had the flash on the light on the entire time. It ruined the experience for us. Can we go again? And they let us go again. But I was mad, and so if they hadn't, that would have been a make or break moment for us. But thank goodness that they let us do that. But is any of this ringing true for you, Shannon?
It's more the vloggers and bloggers and live streamers, if I'm to be honest, because I know that some people try to be discreet, but others will sit on the ride and be having conversations with their viewers. I get it, you're hustling, but to me that is way more bothersome. Just be quiet if you want to sit there and record it. If you can, like, try to dim your screen. and whatever. There's always going to be someone, and I've definitely been guilty of going to snap a picture on a ride, and your iPhone, you swore that the flash was off, but then it was on, and you're like, oh no. So
I'm
again,
so
mistakes
sorry.
happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm so sorry. All right, so the next one, they're a necessary evil, and I get that, but I think that there needs to be better etiquette around strollers and ECVs.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me
I,
Oh,
started.
yes.
I, I, again, I'm gonna go right to Kev. He's ready. What are your thoughts on this one?
These people, well, I'll start with the strollers. And, they think they own the walkway and the pathways. They walk wherever they want, and they expect you to move for them just because they're pushing a double wide uh, stroller. Okay. And, and so it's like, okay, they have no sense of, what's going on around them. Okay. And then on top of that, if you're behind them and they decide to just plain stop to look at their phone or to talk to people in their group and stuff, it's annoying as hell with that. The people with the electric scooters, that's a whole thing. I could go on for a couple hours with those people, but they're just as annoying. They're the ones that get crop dusted quite often because they grate on my ass. Well, you know what? Good for them. It's going to linger. I'm going to make sure it lingers.
Wow, wow,
I have
wow.
no
Okay,
sympathy for
did
them.
not expect this direction. Did not expect it. Shannon.
Oh man. Okay, as someone who had to navigate a stroller earlier this year, I understand that accidents do happen. Sometimes you bump people, and if ever I have a chance to complain about the Skyliner in front of Rob, I will.
Oh my
And the
lord
fact
and
that
butter.
the cast members shoved us into a Skyliner where there were four other guests inside, and we had a stroller. And when I tell you, I ran over all of their feet. But the thing is, like, I'm sitting there, I'm saying, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Whatever. It's the people who hit you and then don't say anything, even though, like, when you hit someone, when you roll over a foot. And there was a woman who in her ECV rolled right over my dad's foot, and she just kept on going. And those are the people that drive me insane.
Yeah,
They're so
and again,
entitled.
we know that these are necessary. Like I said, they're necessary. There are people who cannot have this experience without an ECV
Yes.
or a wheelchair. Totally understand that. I think there are some people that are in ECVs that don't need to be in them. They just are like, I would rather ride around this park than walk it. Um, and so, but I mean, there's not a cutoff for anybody who wants to be on one or whatever. But the stroller thing, you're right, Kev. It's like they have the right of way, and you just got to get out of their way. I remember trying to get out of Main Street one time while the hub was under construction at Magic Kingdom. It was so tight during fireworks and things like that to get out, and I remember trying to get out and just getting bumped in the back from with the back of my heels with a stroller over and over and over again, and just like
Yeah, and,
you know,
and there are parents that know how to navigate a crowd with a
yeah,
stroller, and so I'm not talking about them. It's the
yeah,
people that think that they can use the stroller as a weapon or a device to get themselves through the crowd. And
Yes.
that's like, if you got a kid in there, you're lucky because you'd be wearing the stroller.
You know what though you could do it Days of Thunder style, and you can draft behind someone in a stroller to help you get out faster because they're
Now
running
that
like a fullback halfback situation, and you just run behind them or like draft behind them, and you can get out faster.
I guess
Listen,
as long as I'm not in front of them and I'm behind them, I guess that's when it's okay. So maybe
yeah.
I'm contradicting myself in some ways with that, but
Well, but
yeah,
somebody's going to be in front of them the whole time, even if you're
that's
behind
true.
them. Somebody's in front of them, so yeah, that could be a thing. And now it's gotten to the point where there's like these wagons that people pull through and all that kind of
I
stuff.
thought those
So
were banned years
I
ago.
well,
What
they
thought those
have
were
happened with
banned
that?
too.
yeah, they have that tape that as long as it fits in that area that you're good. So I don't know. But I don't think they've been banned everywhere because I know that I've seen them in other parks. Let's move on. Speaking of kids, to letting kids run wild. And please, the disclaimer here: I have children. We all have a niece, a nephew, kids that we love to death. And so it's not really about the kids. It's about the parents who are letting Disney babysit their kid, basically, is what they're doing. They just let the kid run wild. Now, things like Tom Sawyer Island, RIP, or some of the little playgrounds that were set up would be a good place for that kind of thing. But like letting cast members have to deal with your kid directly when you just like let them wander over there, or they're running up and down the aisles at shows, or and people are just like, they just need to run off some steam, and it's like you're bothering everybody else. You're letting them, impede everyone else's experience. So again, it's a theme park, folks. I get it. There are going to be kids there, but the parents need to, like, we would have been just ashamed if that was happening. You need to take the kid. If the kid has become, and this is a word I learned from my wife, who's an educator, dysregulated. If the kid has become dysregulated, you either need to take them out of the situation, or you need to take them back to the room, because now you're kind of being cruel to them because they're not in a place to enjoy this anymore. So, I mean, again, kids running wild. I'm not going to start with Kevin on this one. I'm going to start with Shannon on this one. Do you have a problem with that, or are you like, oh, kids are going to be kids?
Yeah, I have a problem with parents who don't discipline their kids. And I understand that this is a very sensitive subject and you cannot control children. They will have meltdowns in the work. My niece had a meltdown, and when they just plant themselves right in that doorway to the Emporium in the beginning of Main Street. You know which one I'm talking about, on the corner, kind of to the left of the flagpole? She planted herself right in the middle of that main doorway, and God bless my sister, she had to scoop her up and take her out of there. But that's what some people will just like let their kid have a meltdown, and that is a major thoroughfare of people coming in and out. So I understand that you can't control where your kid decides to have a meltdown, but it is the parent's responsibility to take them out of it. So it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I agree. It's the parent's responsibility, Kevin.
Well, I have two granddaughters, and when they came down from Sacramento to visit at DCA, and I'm not saying they're perfect, but that particular day, they, my son and daughter-in-law, they planned well as far as what they needed the kids to do, what the girls needed to do, and so they knew if they were tired that they needed to go get them something to drink or take them in someplace cool. We have a friend from Canada that she has everything planned out with her son, as when his nap time, when he eats, and in the park for a couple hours, and take him back to the hotel so he can rest or go to the pool or something like that. If parents just applied a little common sense again to how and know their children. If you're not disciplining your children at home, you can't expect them to be disciplined in a theme park. It doesn't magically happen, right? So they need to be responsible for their kids. The one place that I can't stand it is in a sit-down restaurant on Disney property, where these parents let their kids run all over the restaurant. And I'm talking Topolino's, California Grill, where we've been there and we've experienced this. And it's just annoying as all hell to have that. It's like, keep your kid in the chair, all right, in your booth, wherever you are, eat and get the hell out. If they can't discipline enough to sit for a meal for an hour, don't take them to that restaurant. Take them someplace else, right? Because let me tell you this, and hey, I was born in '64. If I ran around the restaurant like that, I'd have been unconscious in 15 minutes, and we never had to. That's just how life was.
Yeah.
You know what goes along with that, though? And I get it, kids are messy, but there's some kids who just make excessive messes, and then the parents leave it in the restaurants. That drives me insane. Mm-hmm. Like, I get that, you're not there to clean up messes, but like when people leave food all over the floor and the tables, I don't care. I'm sitting there and I will clean it up, at least put it in a nice little pile for not the cast member to deal with that giant mess.
Yep. Well, and that will run me into, and again, I think we could talk about all this all night, but I want to kind of get you guys out on a good schedule here. Is the next one is littering and general disrespect. And I think that exactly what you just said, kind of covers that a little bit, Shannon. When I worked at Disney, one of the things they taught us was as you're walking through the park, even if you are off, you should, or I mean, if you're walking through the park and you see a piece of trash, you should pick it up. And you see people with the name tags and the button down with the ties picking stuff up all the time. A lot of times they'll walk around with one of those like those pinchers to do that too, is to help to keep the parks clean. And I think that's part of the what Walt wanted, was it to always be a beautiful and clean park, and that's that Disney difference that we have when it comes to that kind of stuff. But people leave trash on tables when they leave, or they and then conversely about the general disrespect is you go to a counter service restaurant and there's like a line a mile long and somebody goes and saves a table. Yeah. You don't have food yet and it's a mile long. Like I kind of get where you're going with that, but then like you're taking that table away from somebody else. Like there's a system here. Now Disney's kind of stepped in on that one since COVID, right? They kind of like, they're like, do you have an order? Oh, otherwise you can't come in here. Or, they try to, especially I'm thinking of like the Satuli, is there's a path to it. And I feel like you can't just walk in and find a table when you're in there, kind of a thing. That may not be what you guys think of general disrespect. I feel like there's a lot of disrespect. When I was, Kevin, I don't know if you saw at the 70th, they did that the key thing, and you put the key in and turn it, and they had those rolling things with the key and the bubbles and everything. I saw two parents just sitting there on their phones while their kids basically just, lack of a better term, molested that thing. Like put their fingers all over it and inside it, and just like, we're climbing on it and just all of this kind of stuff. And there are people like, we want to use this. Like, what are you doing? So I don't know, Kevin, what do you think about these two things? Littering, disrespect, anything, thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, the littering thing, I just don't get. It's you're sitting at a table, you're eating, you're done. Take your trash, leave the table, leave that area that you're eating at as clean as possible for the next guest to come up. Usually when we go, I'll wipe it down if we get an open table, but it's not that difficult. You go to any Disney park, and even Universal like that as well. There's trash cans all over the place, especially in the eating areas. You can't not find a trash can. Get your tray, put it on tray, dump it. You're good to go. And as far as the people saving tables and stuff, if it's not crowded and the line's not long, yeah, I'll go grab a table for Allie while Allie's getting food or whatever. Conversely, when we're there and it's crowded, we'll eat, and instead of sit there and talk for another half hour, once we're done, we'll get up and leave so somebody else can sit down, because that's what I would hope other people would do if I was in line waiting for a table. So again, yeah, it's just the general respect for each other.
That's probably a better way of looking at it. Like when I'm talking about the idea of, saving a table, I mean, you want to get a place to sit down and eat. I get it. But you're right. Like eat, do your thing, and then don't just sit there on your phone and talk. Because if you look around some of these restaurants, that's what people are doing. They're taking advantage of the air conditioning. They've got a four top, but there's only two of them so that their bags can sit in the other two chairs or whatever. Mm-hmm. Shannon, anything on this one?
No, I think we about covered it. I am someone who, like, I believe in the divide and conquer. Someone gets the food, someone gets the table, because it can be rough out there sometimes. And when your dogs are barking after walking through those parks, sometimes I gotta sit.
Yeah, no, I
but yeah, I won't sit there forever.
I get that. So this one. Personal space issues. You kind of talked about this at the top, but I want to spread this out into also the idea of spatial awareness. And I think that this is a thing that somebody in our pack called this the Disney stop. Is that like these are crowded parks that you're walking through all the time. Some people will meander. Some people will like let their kid lead the way, and so everything's going much slower. Or they will have like they'll just stop in the middle, or they'll just stand in front of a doorway on their phone, and it's just no spatial awareness. You're in people's way. And I feel like, and every show I get to say it once, when I was in Tokyo, they're very cognizant of things like that, standing on the right or on the left side if you're, if you're going one way and letting people move through on the right side, or going into like eat when you're eating, standing off to the side to do it. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that I don't know if it bothers you as much as it does us, but we try to be on high alert as a family. If I happen to be standing in a zone that is people trying to get by, my wife will grab me by the backpack and pull me out of the way immediately, because it's like, this is not something we're going to be responsible for doing. But Kev, have you run into this kind of a problem?
All the time. People just stopping again, like I mentioned earlier. People stopping in the middle of walkways, or a big group will just take up the entire walkway where you either have to walk through them, around them, and then they look at you like you're disrespectful because you're walking through their group. Well, you're standing in the walkway, so that's what's going to happen. People that stand in doorways. It's like, do you not understand this is an entry and exit? Get out of there. When Allie is shooting content for things, if I'm with her and she does a really good job of just trying to find an area where she's not blocking people, so they can walk by, look at merchandise or buy merchandise and stuff. You have to be cognizant of where you are and what's going on around you. And I think a lot of people don't. And again, I think it's because you can go back to the beginning when you said people pay a lot of money to go there, and maybe they have a limited amount of time to be in the parks. Maybe it's the day, maybe it's a couple days or whatever. So they want to do as much as possible. But even still, you can still be respectful in how you move about in the parks.
Yep. Shannon, anything on this?
I think part of the problem, especially in Walt Disney World, is cultural differences. And I mean that for Americans and for international tourists. So for me, I live very close to New York City. People move at a very fast pace around here. I'm criticized by my husband as being an extremely fast walker. I have a place to go, places to be. I'm moving very quickly to get there. And I find that in Disney World, you have these people who you think they have all the time in the world to just move at a snail's pace from one place to another. And then when it comes to spatial awareness too, it goes back to that queue etiquette. Although I find that kind of everywhere I go. I remember there was a particular tour group from another country. I was on the ferry going to Magic Kingdom, and the ferry was really empty. But these people felt the need to stand 2 inches off of my shoulder, and I just did not get it. But I think for them, it likely is part of their culture and it's normal. So you have to I try to understand that, but also I can't stand it.
All right. Well, I mean, we could talk about this topic until tomorrow, but what I'd like to do is I want to give you some of the feedback we got from our Park Adventures Club folks, and then what I want to come back to both of you about is if you could give some advice on what somebody can do to be a better guest. So, be putting that in your head. What advice you would give somebody? And Kevin, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to deliver it in a nice way. You can deliver it in a mean, in an honest way if you need to, brother. But let me first say thank you guys for being here, but also thank you to the pack and everyone else who's been here and spending your Sunday nights with us. We appreciate you. And when we say the pack, that's our Park Adventurers Club. Not only is it the name of the show, but it's also the name of our channel, and it's the name of the group of people who hang out and support us. And I want to give a big shout out to our group. It's patreon.com/GoPack if you want to be a part of that. And thanks to all of our Zebra Mezzanine and Treasure Room supporters. You know who you are, but we want to acknowledge you as well. And so when you are a member of the pack or a Patreon, we actually have a Discord just for our group. And we're in there all the time, and we've got different chats and sub-chats and things like that. But one of the things I do is I ask a question of the day. And so just about every day, and I know I miss one every week or so or 2 weeks or so, but just about every day I ask a question, and it could be something random like who let the dogs out, but a lot of times it's really more about, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? The question that I asked, I said, relevant to the show, what rude things do people do in the theme parks that drive you nuts? And I don't know that I've ever gotten as much response from our pack as I did with this one. It was, how much time you got, or I don't think I should say, or whatever. But Real Life Evie said, when the squad walks four wide, strolling at a slow-mo pace, share the effing walkways, friends,
Yes.
2 by 2 by 2. Learn it, live it, just do it. So that's
Agreed.
one. Yeah. Jay Ware says the people who are walking at a normal pace then all of a sudden stop in front of you as you try not to plow right into them like a bowling ball. And then Mitch says strollers being used as battering rams, which we had talked about in there. Our friend Rosita said this, and we didn't touch on this. When you've been standing or sitting in a spot for a long time waiting for a parade or fireworks, and then it starts, someone puts their kid or a child or somebody taller in front of you. And so I get it. It's for the kids and they want them to be seen, but then show up early. And, that should be the thing that you do, is that, I don't know, maybe that's a weird place to be. But also I've been in situations, and I'm going to say Disneyland was one of them, where I sat waiting for fireworks and then somebody came in, walked in front of me and had a balloon. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? That's no.
They paid a lot for that, Rob. That balloon was entitled to that spot.
Mitch also said the game of chicken, when the folks, they pretend they cannot see you and act like they're the apex of a fast turn, like an F1 car, and that you're in their way. So that's another one. And then real life. And then there, I feel like there was another one that I wanted to bring your attention, but there were a lot of. Bucky says, guests who overpay for a vacation and think it entitles them to be rude AF to everyone, every single place they walk into, and to every cast member or guest that they meet. Annoying live streamers who think that they work at WDW and are owed prime seating, viewing, and dining spots. And then obvious DAS abusers. And then it says festival people. So I guess those are the folks that just come for the drink. But Kevin, no, I'm just kidding. But the people, I mean, that's another thing that we didn't really talk about and that's really more of a behind the scenes, problem is the DAS thing, because it makes it so that people who, and for those of you who don't know, it's the disability pass to be able to, for those who can't wait in line for one reason or another, to be able to, allow them to experience the attraction still. And it's a great service, but it was abused by a lot of people. And so that, then they kind of had to cut back on what was happening there. I don't know. That's more behind the scenes rude, I feel like, than something that we don't see in front of everybody. This one, pass holders, and they spelled it differently so that it makes it sound bad, that think that they're above average, they are above average guests, and they talk through every freaking ride or queue or whatever. So yeah, that's a thing that happens. So there's a lot of folks in here who were wanting to say things, and so I definitely appreciate you guys talking, and I also appreciate, I hope you appreciate the chance to vent to your fellow pack members in here. And yeah, so there's the thing. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, we got a lot of content coming up. Last Friday night, there was a song that does that, right? Was that Katy Perry? Last Friday night, my son did his trivia show, which is called Hakuna Trivia, where he has some people on and he runs them through the ringers of trivia. So go back and check that out. You're right here at the Park Adventures Club Wednesday night. Charlie, our good friend Charlie, is going to be talking to me about Disney as a Christmas Carol as we continue on the Look on the Plus side to review Christmas. And then Saturday, I'm going to be with my family, and we're going to be doing a live stream from Christmas Town, talk about other parks. We're going to be doing Christmas Town, which is in Williamsburg at their Busch Gardens. We're going to do a live stream there at 4:30. So if you guys can join us, that would be great. But then next Sunday night, we are not doing a show because it's a holiday weekend. We want everybody to enjoy themselves. Our team's going to enjoy themselves. We hope you enjoy yourselves and have a great Thanksgiving. And we really appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. We hope you'll join us Wednesday night for a Look on the Plus side, and then have a great holiday. But before we get out of here, the topic is guests behaving badly. And to my two park adventurers and quorum here, I want to ask the question, and we'll start with you, Shannon. What would you suggest to our fellow theme park travelers as a way to be a good guest?
Very simple. aside from obviously just being a good person, don't engage when you have a clown around you who is trying to instigate. I had one of them. Rosita talked about the parade situation. I waited very long time to see Mickey's Not So Scary Booty You, and there was a family that rolled up 5 minutes before that parade started. And when I tell you they were making passive aggressive comments the entire parade because their child could not see over everyone who had been waiting there, and as irritating and as much as it just ate away at my soul. I know that the worst thing that I could do was engage with this individual, and that's how I think how these big fights happen. So don't engage. Let fools be fools.
Let the fools be fools. Before we get to Kevin, we have one more super chat. I love that sound. All respect to cast members. This is from CKB. All respect to cast members who have to deal with this a lot. However, they really need to rein in the yelling. Keep it moving forward during parades. We are trying and are being blocked and cannot move. Please stop screaming. Yeah, that's again. It's one of those things where I mentioned, and again, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you, and so and we see you as far as this stuff goes, because again, that's one of those things where I was saying that cast member can make or break, but a lot of cases it's because they're trying. Maybe they're tired. Maybe there's something that doesn't excuse it, but that they would they're frustrated by the people, and it's probably people who were being bad, and we're the ones being good. That and we are the ones that get the brunt of it when they're upset or whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and break the rule and do it twice. In Tokyo, they don't mess. Those cast members, they're just like, move it. They're just, come on. They're nice about it, but they're frantic about it, and they're just like, they move the people through, so efficient. But it's a little less opportunity to really mix and enjoy the cast members who do such a great job. But again, thank you so much for that. So Kevin, what is your suggestion to those people? If you could speak openly to all the people who are just behaving badly out there, what is your recommendation for them, your note to them?
Well, everybody has a smartphone, and a lot of times the phone is definitely smarter than the human themselves. But do your homework before you go to the park. Yes, you're spending a lot of money, and if you're taking a family of 4 or 6, or even if you're going as a couple, and even if you're going solo, do your homework before you get to the park. If you have specific things in mind, look it up. Check a blog and see if they have any suggestions on how to navigate the parks. I feel like if people did that, it would make things a little smoother. For them, they can plan a lot better to get to places without having to rush, without having to be rude and disrespectful to people in the walkways, in the attractions themselves. It might make for a better experience for them as well as everybody else around them. And if you don't use your smartphone and you don't do your homework, you're going to get crop dusted. Plain and simple.
I knew it was coming.
Well, I mean, he's got the answer, folks. He's just sharing the information. So please let us know in the comments below what kind of things that you think, either stories you see, like nightmare stories you've had, or suggestions you have for people, things you'd like to see people, improve upon. And it's true year round, but it's the holiday season. Just be nice to each other. Let's just do that. Let's just be nice to each other and respect each other. Because again, I think that the one thing it comes down to is respect when it comes to the etiquette that we have in the parks. We'll continue to, I'm sure, revisit this topic over time. But again, thank you both for being very forthright and open about your feelings. I know that you guys are usually shy about holding in your opinions, and so thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Kev. Thank you guys so much again for being here. We hope we see you Wednesday night for a look on the plus side. But if not, I hope you have an amazing holiday, and we'll see you not the next Sunday, but the one after that. We'll be back for another Park Adventures Club. And don't forget, folks, adventure is out there. We'll see you soon.